What is a self-directed 401k? Believe it or not, that's actually a very loaded question, so let's begin by establishing some common terminology. The three terms we have to define right away are 401k, self-directed 401k, and captive 401k. Now, the most central of those terms, 401k, is fundamentally just a type of financial account that gives you tax breaks in exchange for saving and investing for retirement. Like old-style pension plans from the 50s and 60s, 401ks are available only through an employer. But unlike pensions, 401ks are generally legally separate from employers and are not subject to the huge risk of being raided by insolvent employers, which was the major downfall of pension plans of yore. For most, but not all, 401k owners, money is withheld from their paychecks and placed into the plan. That account receives special tax treatment, which is Uncle Sam's inducement for you to put away money for your own retirement so the government doesn't have to pick up the bill for your golden years. So that's the basic idea of a 401k as a whole. But beyond that, there are two categories of 401ks, self-directed and captive 401ks. In almost every way, the two types of 401ks are identical. Tax benefits are the same, contribution limits are the same, nearly everything is exactly the same when comparing self-directed to captive 401ks, but in one very substantial way, they're absolutely opposite of each other. And that difference is all about the amount of control that you have over your own investments. The self-directed 401k is the type of 401k that really gives you a lot of freedom in how you invest your retirement savings. Rather than locking you into stocks or mutual funds or CDs, a self-directed 401k enables you to invest your retirement savings into nearly anything. Real estate or privately held companies or precious metals or cryptocurrencies or nearly anything else. There are really shockingly few limitations. The sky is very nearly the limit. But most 401ks, the vast majority of them in fact, they're not self-directed. Instead, they're captive. What does that mean? Well, it's simple, really. If there are nearly any limits at all imposed on the asset types that can be purchased within a 401k, then what you have is a captive 401k rather than a self-directed 401k. Now, nearly all 401ks offered through employers are of the captive variety. Why? Well, nearly all employers establish their 401k plans with the help of a third-party financial institution, and by and large, financial institutions who offer 401ks do so as a way to force their customers to purchase that institution's investment products. So, if a stockbroker offers a 401k, they're probably going to restrict you to investing in stocks. If a mutual fund company provides 401ks, they're probably going to restrict you to investing in mutual funds. So in this way, the 401k account owner is really captive to the restrictions placed on his or her account by the 401k administrator, but those restrictions are not imposed by the law. A great analogy for understanding the distinction between self-directed 401ks and captive 401ks is to think about a really huge superhighway. I always think of the Katy Freeway in Houston, Texas. It's a whopping 26 lanes wide. It's just huge. So let's imagine that each one of those lanes represents a type of investment that's allowed under the law, like things like stocks, mutual funds, real estate, precious metals, tax liens, and on and on and on. So if your 401k was the Katy Freeway, it would be self-directed if you had access to all 26 lanes and could change lanes from one lane to the other based on your preferences. But if your 401k restricts you to only a few of those lanes, like stocks or mutual funds or CDs, then what you've got is not self-directed, but a captive 401k. So for our purposes, a captive 401k is the opposite of self-directed 401k. But let's set aside technical definitions. At the core, a self-directed 401k is just a way for you to build your retirement savings by investing in assets that you actually know and understand. If you're a skilled real estate investor, for example, then it makes all the sense in the world for you to focus some of your retirement investments into real estate. Likewise, if you're a whiz at investing in pre-IPO companies or intellectual property like patents and copyrights or even cryptocurrencies or any other kind of asset, then by all means you should have the opportunity to invest your retirement savings into those assets because those are the assets in which you are most likely to experience the kind of results you need to make your retirement years as grand and glorious as you're hoping. And that's really the big difference. So the choice is simple. If real control and full autonomy over your retirement investing is not something you value, then just go ahead and allow Wall Street and the conventional financial world to decide how you should invest your hard-earned retirement savings by using a captive 401k. But if those things do matter to you, real control, full autonomy, the ability to make decisions for yourself rather than having limits forced on you, then a self-directed 401k could be an extraordinary thing for you, because ultimately the answer to the question of what is a self-directed 401k is that it's a tool provided by your employer or by yourself if you're self-employed that allows you to save and invest for retirement for who you are, using your best knowledge, your best experience, and reflecting your values and your preferences rather than Wall Street's.